The wind off the bay carried the scent of rusted salt and cold. Logan sat on the edge of a wooden bench near the firing range, nursing his protein shake, jaw still tight from drills. He wasn't looking for company. Most days, silence was his favorite training partner. But this time, someone else was already on the bench. Older, maybe 70, windbreaker, thermos in hand. No motion except for the rise and fall of his breath. Logan almost moved away. But then he saw the faded tattoo on the man's forearm. A trident. Below it, a simple 02, Team 2, seal. That alone kept him rooted. The man didn't look at him, just stared out at the bay, steam curling from his thermos. Logan sat quietly beside him. The silence stretched. Comfortable, not cold. Logan had learned to respect stillness, especially when someone older wore it like armor. After several minutes, the old man finally spoke. "You from Coronado?" Logan turned slightly. "Phase 2. The man nodded, like it confirmed something he already knew. "You'll hate the cold less in 20 years, he said. "But not by much." Logan smirked. "Hoping I'm alive to test that. Only way to find out is to keep going." He didn't offer his name. Logan didn't ask. That's how it was with some men. You didn't force identity, you earned it piece by piece. A week passed. Logan kept returning to that bench. So did the old man. Same time. Same place. Never arranged. They never said much. A few questions. A few answers. All efficient. All real. One day, Logan turned slightly toward the man beside him. "You still shoot?" he asked. The man gave a small nod. "Sometimes," he said. "Not for fun. Not for records." Logan kept his eyes on the bay. "You serve long?" "Long enough to lose count," the man replied, voice quiet but sure. Logan hesitated, then asked, "What was the hardest part?" The man paused, the steam from his thermos curling upward. "Coming back," he said finally. "Figuring out how to be quiet without disappearing." That stuck with Logan, more than he expected. The man showed up without a word, as usual, thermos in hand. They sat, watched the bay, let the breeze move past them. Then came the noise. Murphy. 2 other recruits followed him, fresh from drills, energy still crackling in their walk. Murphy spotted them both and smirked. "Hey, Logan! You making friends with the local scarecrow now?" The old man didn't react. He stared forward, like the voices were just another kind of wind. Logan didn't flinch either. Murphy slowed as he passed, eyes flicking toward the tattoo on the man's arm. "What's that? Some fake Navy ink? You get that at a gas station?" The other recruits laughed, but not loud, not confidently. Logan stood up. "You should keep walking," he said calmly. Murphy raised his eyebrows. "You serious?" "Completely serious," Murphy scoffed. "All right, man. Chill. Just messing." They walked on, but Logan stayed standing for a moment longer, facing the spot where they disappeared. Then he sat down again. The old man sipped from his thermos. "You didn't have to do that." "Yeah," Logan said. "But I did." The man didn't thank him. He didn't need to. The next day, Logan didn't see the man at first. The bench was empty. The bay was calm. The breeze less sharp. He waited a while. Maybe 20 minutes. Just when he was about to leave, the man appeared, slow, steady. Same coat, same look. But this time, when he sat, he looked at Logan. "Don't waste your voice on people who don't hear." Logan nodded. "I wasn't speaking for them." The man smiled slightly, just a twitch of the corner of his mouth. "You're learning." That night, Logan sat in his bunk, turning the moment over in his mind. He didn't know why it mattered so much, why he'd cared what Murphy said, why he couldn't ignore it, but something in the man's stillness demanded respect. And Logan had felt it since the first moment on that bench. He pulled out his laptop, typed a few search terms into an old archive browser. SEAL Team 2. Laos. 1972, no air support confirmed. He wasn't sure what he was looking for, but he had a feeling he'd know when he saw it. The screen glowed cold against Logan's face as the night wore on. Everyone else in the squad bay was either out or asleep, but he couldn't let it go. He wasn't even sure what he was hoping to find. Most logs were blacked out, riddled with redactions, names missing, units unlisted, locations blurred behind acronyms. Still, something kept pulling him forward. Finally, in a shadowy MACVSOG operational dump, buried deep in a .gov archive that hadn't been updated since 2007, he found it. Just one line. Extraction compromised. No airlift. One SEAL recovered an injured teammate overland. 6 kilometers. No contact. Declined recognition. Entry marked no marker. Internal eyes only. No names. No medals. Just one man who carried silence instead of recognition. Logan stared at it for a long time. No marker. That phrase again. It wasn't a bureaucratic glitch. It was intentional. A seal of forgetting. He leaned back, exhaled slowly. The old man hadn't just lived something heavy. He'd chosen to carry it alone. The next morning, Logan printed that single line. He walked to the bench early, heart hammering louder than his boots. The man was already there. Logan didn't say anything. Just sat beside him, then slid the paper onto the bench. The man didn't even look at it right away. After a moment, he said, "I told them not to write it down." "They didn't," Logan replied. "They tried to forget it. But they missed a crack." The man nodded slowly. "I didn't leave that crack for anyone else," he said. "Just for me. To remind myself it happened." Logan was quiet. The man finally looked down at the paper, folded it in half without reading it again. Then he reached into his jacket and took out a small coin. Bronze. Worn. No shine. A trident on one side. A single word on the other. "Remember." "I made 7, the man said. "1 for each of us. 2 came back. I kept the rest." Logan didn't reach for it. Didn't ask. The man placed it in his hand anyway. "You carry silence," he said. "Not because you choose to. Because there's nothing left to say." Logan closed his hand around the coin. It wasn't large, but it felt like it had mass beyond metal. "And now?" Logan asked. The man looked at the water. "Now it's yours." Logan returned to base with the coin in his pocket. He didn't tell anyone. Didn't show it. Didn't even take it out again that day. But something in him had shifted. He moved quieter. Spoke less. Listened more. That evening, during team drills, he completed every set with brutal precision. No wasted movement. No commentary. Just focus. Reyes, the instructor, took notice. After the debrief, he pulled Logan aside. "You all right?" Logan nodded. "Just processing." Reyes studied him. "You've got the look." "What look?" "The one guys get after they meet someone who made it through things they still don't have names for." Logan said nothing. Reyes didn't press. In the squad bay, Murphy was still his usual self, loud, half-joking, always on edge. He spotted Logan sitting alone that night, eyes low, jaw tight. "Still hanging out with the mystery man of the bench?" Murphy joked. Logan didn't look up. "You ever wonder why some people are quiet?" Murphy shrugged. "Maybe they got nothing to say. Or maybe they've already said enough for a lifetime." That landed heavier than Murphy expected. He didn't reply. Just walked off. Later that night, Logan opened the metal box in his locker. Inside it, he placed the coin, carefully, like it might bruise if dropped wrong. He didn't label the box, didn't lock it. He just slid it to the back of the shelf and closed the door. The next morning, Logan returned to the bench early. But the old man wasn't there. He waited. 10 minutes. 15. Then the familiar figure emerged from the mist, slower than usual, a cloth bundle in his hand. He sat down without a word and unwrapped the bundle. Inside was a patch. Faded. SEAL Team 2. Barely holding together. "I kept this off my wall," the man said. "Didn't want reminders." He handed it to Logan. Logan hesitated. "Why me?" The man didn't answer immediately. Then, "Because you don't need the patch to prove anything. You just carry it until someone else is ready to ask the right questions." The patch felt softer than it looked. But it weighed just as much as the coin. Logan knew what it meant. And he knew what to do with it. The next morning, the bench was empty. Logan waited. 30 minutes passed. Then an hour. No windbreaker. No thermos. No footsteps. Just the waves brushing against the rocks, indifferent and endless. He came back the next day. Still no sign of the old man. But on the third morning, something was different. There, screwed into the wood at the back of the bench, was a small plaque. Nothing shiny. Nothing official. Just a hand-carved square, aged and unpainted. Burned into the grain were 4 words. "Reserved." No need to ask. Logan stared at it. It didn't say SEAL. Didn't say veteran. Didn't say hero. But he understood it better than any award he'd ever seen. That afternoon, the man returned. He moved a little slower, but still steady. He noticed Logan looking at the plaque and gave a short nod. "Time someone said it," he said. "Even if no one reads it." "You put it up?" Logan asked. "Had a friend make it." Years ago. I was waiting for the right time. Why now? The old man looked at him for a long moment. Because you'll be here when I won't. Logan didn't reply. He didn't know how. The man reached into his coat one last time and pulled out a folded photo, black and white, edges worn thin. 7 men in the jungle. Mud. Here. Youth already fading from their eyes. One of them stood slightly apart, not smiling. Logan recognized him. He handed the photo over. Logan looked at it carefully, then offered it back, but the man shook his head. That's not mine anymore. They sat for a while longer, just watching the sky shift color. Finally, the man stood. No ceremony, just presence. He looked at Logan one last time. Don't wait for permission, he said. Some benches are already yours. Then he walked away. No goodbye. Just gone. The man never came back. Logan returned every morning for a week. Same time. Same wind. Same bench. But the thermos never appeared. The worn jacket. The tired eyes. Gone. No note. No announcement. Just silence. The kind that filled a place instead of leaving it. He sat anyway. Some days longer than others. Some days just a few minutes. Not waiting. Guarding. One morning, a fellow recruit walked by. Ramirez, the quiet type. He paused when he saw Logan sitting there. That bench, the old guy's not around anymore? Logan nodded once. No. Ramirez squinted at the plaque. What's it mean? Logan replied without looking up. It means someone was here. And someone still is. Ramirez looked like he wanted to ask more but didn't. He just said, All right, man, and walked on. That night, Logan went to his locker and opened the tin box. He placed the patch beside the coin. Then he added the photo. The 3 things lay there, quiet, connected, alive in their own way. He didn't touch them again. But he didn't need to. The next afternoon, he returned to the bay. As he approached the bench, he saw someone already sitting there. Young. 17, maybe 18. Civilian clothes. ROTC patch on the backpack slung over one shoulder. The boy stood when he saw Logan approach. Sorry, sir, he said quickly. Didn't realize it was taken. Logan looked at him. You can sit. The boy hesitated. Then sat again, slowly. They both looked out at the water. The boy glanced toward the plaque. It's special? He asked. Logan nodded. Was it for someone? It still is. They sat in silence for a while longer. The boy didn't speak again. And Logan didn't fill the space. Because he understood now. Some stories aren't told. They're held. And some benches aren't empty. They're waiting. Days passed. Logan stopped counting them. He returned to the bench like it was a ritual. Not out of duty, out of rhythm, out of something deeper. Sometimes he sat 10 minutes, sometimes an hour. Sometimes recruits jogged past without noticing him. Other times they slowed down, looked, moved on. But he never waved anyone over. Until someone came who didn't need an invitation. A man in his 40s, clean haircut, soft stride. Civilian. But not aimless. He approached the bench with care. Not curiosity. Respect. He looked at the plaque, read it silently, then looked at Logan. You served with him? He asked, voice low. Logan glanced sideways. Not in the way you think. The man nodded slowly, then pulled something from his coat pocket. A folded paper. It was a photocopy, grainy, of the same jungle photo Logan had in his box. He handed it to Logan. That man, he said, tapping the side. He was my uncle. Never talked about anything. My dad said he returned, but something stayed behind. Logan's fingers tightened around the paper. He came here, he said. Every day. I know, the man replied. Took me years to track it down. Logan handed the copy back. You don't need to stay. I wasn't planning to. But if you do, sit a while. Don't talk. The man sat. They looked out together. No stories shared. No grief performed. Just stillness. And Logan knew. This wasn't a replacement. It was recognition. Later, when the man left, Logan reached into his pocket. He pulled out the old patch, the faded 02, and ran his thumb across it. He wasn't ready to give it away. But he knew the day was coming. When someone would sit beside him and not ask anything. And that would be the moment. The next morning, the fog returned. Not thick, just enough to blur the distance between water and sky. Logan sat on the bench. No patch in his hand. No coin on display. Just the weight of them in his mind. He didn't check the time anymore. Time wasn't why he came. The bench had changed. Or maybe he had. A boy approached. 16, 17 maybe. Buzzcut sneakers, worn ROTC hoodie. No swagger. No fake pride. He slowed when he saw Logan. Sir? He asked. Is this, yours? Logan looked at him. Not mine, he said. Just reserved. The boy glanced at the plaque. Was it for someone? For someone who earned silence. The boy paused. Can I sit? Logan nodded. They sat together, the boy fidgeting slightly, unsure. After a minute. Did you serve? Yes. Combat? Logan didn't answer right away. Then, I listened more than I talked. The boy looked confused. That's not how most guys tell it. Logan gave a small smile. That's why most stories fade. They sat a little longer. Wind brushed the grass behind them. The water clapped gently against the rocks. The boy finally asked, Do you miss it? The service? I miss the ones who never got to leave. Oh, he didn't ask more. But that was okay. He didn't need to. As the boy stood to leave, he looked at the plaque one more time. I think I get it, he said. You don't, Logan replied. Not yet. The boy looked down, slightly embarrassed. But you will, Logan added. If you keep sitting like this. The boy nodded and left. Logan remained. The wind picked up slightly. Far off, a gull called and disappeared into the gray. He didn't speak. He didn't move. But something in the air carried forward, a presence without name, without rank, without noise. Logan didn't come to the bench for closure. He came for continuity. And today, someone else had taken the first step toward that same silence. He closed his eyes, not to rest, but to remember.